You're just back from Afghanistan. Is the president doing the right thing here?
I think he is doing the right thing, but again, it's a confident move. You know, when you go to Afghanistan, a couple things leap out at you. First of all, it is an incredibly poor country. I've been all around the world. I've seen very poor countries, Mozambique, one of the poorest in the world. Afghanistan strikes you as even poorer. There are no old people there. The life expectancy is 45. On the other hand, you get two things, and I came away much more optimistic than I arrived there. You see it's a country with a real culture of local community, where the towns really have a structure. It's not like Iraq, where things could totally fall apart. The second thing, and when you talk to our military folks, is that they actually like the Afghans a lot more than the Iraqis. I'm really impressed by the way Obama seized on this mission. But in a time of economic crisis, of war weariness, to launch another big thing, that's risky. I disagree with Mark a little. I do think he's taking on more than he can chew.
If you look at what he's talking about and the way he phrases it, he never just talks about Afghanistan as its own problem. He talks about Afghanistan and its linkage to Pakistan for the first time in a way that the previous administration wasn't able to do, in part because it was so closely linked to the previous Pakistani administration. Now with Bashar Khan, now without all of that bad history of are you telling us the truth or not, or how hard you're looking for the Taliban along the border, this has now been reimagined as a joint effort to clean out the border along Afghanistan. And the point was, this was to him and to Democrats who supported the war, the point, not Iraq, Afghanistan, and not just Afghanistan, but Al-Qaeda. So that's where he is now. Now, this is quite a risk, and he's put Richard Holbrooke in charge of trying to make this linkage at the same time that Richard Holbrooke is speaking to Iran. I mean, when you just look at the foreign policy piece, even if the domestic economy weren't falling apart, that alone is huge.
Trish, what did when he rolled out this plan on Afghanistan? I mean, it was big. I mean, what impact did that have on
It didn't have a huge impact, but let me jump back to what we were talking about earlier in terms of, is he biting off more than he can chew? I think investors basically feel like national security is of utmost importance, so they're willing to embrace Afghanistan. On the other hand, there's been some real pushback on the stimulus program in general and the healthcare costs and all of these other things that he's trying to tackle right now at a time when the economy is in such an incredibly vulnerable spot. And so, I'm down on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange every day. I'm talking to traders down there. I'm talking to investors. And overall, the feeling is, we got to tackle one problem at a time. And right now, the most important thing we can do for the country is to get this economy back on track.